And that brings us to kind of the final point on the U23s, and that is Grant Wall said the following: fiasco, failure, embarrassing are all entirely appropriate descriptions, while Chuck Murphy said U.S. population should have immediate consequences for U.S. soccer. Everyone in charge, including Caleb Porter and Sunil Gulati, should have their pens hovering over resignation letters today. If more Americans followed the game, they would be demanding it. I don't think so. Listen, no country in the world is really that wrapped up in the Olympics. I got to tell you, no one in most countries, they just don't really highly regard the Olympics as a big deal. And there are a lot of big teams across the world that aren't going to make the Olympics. It isn't the end of the world. A lot of people there's perspective. There's context. This wasn't the best U23 team we could have put together. We were missing guys that, I mean, let's be honest. You put Timothy Chandler on this team. You put Fabian Johnson on this team. Josh Gott, Alfredo Morales. I mean, come on.
For the game.
Yeah, come on. Let's have some context here. This was not even the best U23 team we could put out. Right?
And, no, you're completely correct on this. It wasn't the best. We had several players out for that reason alone. I mean, Williams, Chandler, like you said, Altidore could have been playing, Gott, Morales. I mean, those are just a handful of players off the top of my head.
Yeah, exactly.
And here's the thing. The U.S. does take the Olympics seriously. They do like seeing our boys go out there and get the gold.
Yeah.
However, it's a bit much saying that they should be, hovering their pens over their resignation because
over the Olympics. Yeah, right.
We're never going to see that with the Olympics with U.S. soccer. Now, if Klinsmann doesn't qualify for the World Cup,
then we got a problem.
I was going to say, will Gulati be like, oh?
Yeah,
well,
exactly.
Then there'd be some pressure. He might lose the position that he works for free.
Gulati won't, but Klinsmann will.
Klinsmann definitely would, yeah. But that's the thing.
Gulati's ass is glued to that chair.
It's a relatively small, it's a youth tournament. And you know what? It's going to fall on the youth aspect of U.S. soccer.
Yeah.
And that's why Porter is, not that we need a U23 coach at this point anymore until 2 years from now, unless they decide to continue with the program to give the U23s more international experience, but I doubt that's going to happen.
Right. Well, next, Chuck Murphy's going to tell us that we need to have all those folks resign because we didn't win the Pan American Games. Obviously, the Olympics is bigger than that, but come on. It's just a bit much. But go ahead. I mean, we're about running out of time, so.
No, I was just going to say, Gulati's not going to be pressured to resign if U20s don't qualify for the World Cup or the U17s don't. It falls on the coach at that point.
Yeah.
You hire, as obviously if the programs continue to decline, something has to change.
Yeah.
But, he's running unopposed.
Yeah.
There's nobody that's wanting to work for free.
No, exactly.
That's the fact of the matter right there.
Yeah. Well, before we move on to the next question, you didn't catch the, I know you know Marco's Pizza. You heard of it before? Marco's Pizza? Marco's Pizza. Yeah, there was one in Bloomington. It closed down in like 6 months. Anyhow, the new commercial called Marco's Authentic Pizza. And the whole thing about the commercial is, unlike all the other chains, our owner is the only one with an Italian birth certificate. And then they go on to make a big deal about try our new square pizza special. You ever had a square pizza in Italy?
I don't know. I've never been to Italy, but I imagine probably not.
No, but they don't make square pizzas in Italy.
It's
just like the biggest letdown. I'm like, authentic Italian pizza, yes.
The authentic insert restaurant here are not authentic.
Yeah, exactly. Try our authentic square pizza special.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. Commercials today, they are just so goddamn bad. I can't believe I'm not employed full-time by some major
marketing why the Marcos went out after 6 months, right?
What, in Bloomington?
They couldn't keep, in Bloomington. They couldn't keep up with Pizza Express.
Well, that too, and they were located on South Walnut, which is a freaking desert, The wind blows, their tumbleweeds roll through South Walnut. All right.
Hey, that Pizza Express in South Walnut, or Yeah, South Walnut still around. It works.
I don't know. Yeah, they do, but that's way down South Walnut. That's
Okay.
where all the all the suburbs are. This is kind of like in between. This is like 4 blocks
okay.
south of, Kirkwood.
Okay.
That's
I
where they were.
gotcha.
Yeah, and they just faded. All right, but the other question that came up, because Grant Wall got this question, and then we have this friend whom we won't name right now. That's a big Freddy Adu, but smoocher. Just kidding, Julian. Just kidding.
Just name.
He is a Freddy Adu butt smoocher. Come on, he's always he's loved Freddy Adu since Freddy put on his slippers. So Freddie, the question was, despite the results, do you think Freddy Adu did enough to get a shot at the U.S. men's national team? And Grant Wall correctly states, no! What Adu needs to do, more than anything else, is establish himself as a consistent threat at club level, which he has yet to do in the 9 years as a professional. Listen, the guy's talented. He's had some good outings. But you know what? There was actually no guarantee he's going to play or start the majority of games for the Union this year, especially with Mr. Wacky Pants himself right now, Mr. Grumpitis, running the club the way he is right now. So that's all I got to say about that.
I have to agree with Grant here. I don't think Adu should get a shot with the national team until he gets his club in order. He needs to he needs to become a threat in MLS with the Union before. I mean, look. I use Shea as an example. Shea got a call up prior to his breakout season, but it was his breakout season that got him the call up and the continued call ups.
Yep.
I mean, he's continually a threat in MLS.
And Shea's training with Arsenal during his breaks.
And there are people who will say, "Oh, but Adu is better than Shea," and I'm like,
what?
Adu might be trickier, and he might have the nicer, vision as far as slotting that pass through and making it bounce nicely. But there are aspects that I would hold above Adu when it comes to comparing him to Shea.
Yeah.
So Shea has a more stable club life right now.
Well,
and that's all that matters, and that's what Klinsmann said. That's the reason why he didn't include Michael Bradley and Jermaine Jones there for a while, because their club. He wanted them to sort out their club situation.
And they both have.
Hypocritical if he calls up somebody that might not even make the lineup.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Klinsmann,
it's not going to happen.
Klinsmann has had a few exceptions where he's broken that rule, but I'll say this: Adu's best role on any team that he would play for is CAM. Well, that position and that spot is already taken by Clint Dempsey. That's where Klinsmann wants Dempsey to play. And when Dempsey isn't going to play it, I guarantee he's not going to put Adu in there second. It'll be somebody else, whether it be Donovan, because he likes to play Donovan in that position. He's talked about that before as well. It isn't going to be Freddy Adu. All right, folks, it's not going to happen. Freddy, he's probably staring at maybe making the 30 for 2014, but not the final 23. And I guarantee you he should start thinking about 2018, but he's got a lot of work to do in a lot of different areas. This was U23s, folks. This was the little guys, not the big boys. Adu needs to prove it at his club against big boys, guys who are in their late 20s, they're muscle-bound, and are 6'4", because Adu's defense is still extremely questionable, and he gets pushed around a lot pretty easily. Not as much during the Olympics because he was playing a bunch of smaller players. So
I will give him credit though. He was one of the only U.S. players on the U23 team that can win a frickin' header, which is kind of sad.
That is sad. Well, besides Boyd.
Yes.
All right.
And Opara. Opara is actually quite good in the air.
Yeah, and Akugo had a couple good headers too. But all right. By the way, did you catch at all the Country Academy Awards while I look for that MLS review sheet?
Country Academy
Awards. The Country Academy Awards. Every song was about drinking beer. I just watched a few songs just to see what I was going against.
I certainly don't like country.
I don't either. But
I wouldn't know anybody there.
The big song of the night. Just save water and drink beer. Seriously. Did they not know there's water in beer? You can't save water drinking beer. Apparently this band did not know that. I can't believe that's like a really big song in country right now. But I guess it is. Although I have to be fair, there's this brown called the Brown Band. They did something that wasn't so bad called Keep Me in Mind, and it didn't suck. I'll actually say that. But a lot of the songs up for the awards were all about drinking. Hemingway's Whiskey. There's another one called Put a Drink in My Hand. I don't know where country music. It's always been about your dog dying, your truck, busting a tire.
Like stereotypes.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, but we're getting a little out of control here, I think, with that.